Well, welcome back again. We were talking really in these last couple of segments about business and really giving people some things they can do to change the results in their business. And we can go on for hours about that. But one of the points that we want to focus a little bit on, and we'll uncover a lot more later on, is money, because we talked about valuing yourself, and we talked about time priorities, and looking after time. And the other thing is about money, and I guess this is an area where you're probably better to give some input in here about measuring money in a business.
Yeah, as soon as I get into business, it's one of the very first things that I look at. I call it my honesty factor. I look and see whether people actually know how much money they're bringing into the business, and people often look in their bank account and think that's about the measure they need. Mm-hmm. However, what I do look at is see if they've actually got their books up to date, and if they're managing the profits out of the business, whether they've got goals and targets around income and then profit out of that income, and whether they've actually got any plans how they're going to use that profit, whether they reinvest it in the business or whether they're taking it out of the business.
Yeah, you talk about profit in the business, because that's interesting. In a lot of the personal development and mindset information, it's all around your own goals and your own visions and so on. And most people, even business people, forget to actually apply that in their business. Well, what is their goal for their profit of their business?
Yeah, and in fact that's absolutely an indication of they're not valuing themselves.
Yes.
I've worked with clients, I'm talking, maybe I'm not a very good coach, but I've worked with clients over more than a year, and I've walked in on a coaching session and I've said, so how much do you want to earn this year? And they've looked at me blank, knowing they've written it down, but they don't have it in their mind.
Yes.
Because they're not, and it goes back to what we talked about a couple of days ago, which is about valuing yourself.
Yes.
And that's why I look at the money in the business, and it's one of the absolute critical things to do is to get it measured, report it when I first go into a business every single week. How much did you make this week? How much profit did you make? And then some other numbers around what kind of marketing and whether your marketing's working and so on as well.
This might sound a silly question, but what is profit?
Profit is the extra value you provide in the market, and it's interesting you raise that, because value goes right back to, do you value yourself? If you're not making profit in your business, you're not providing enough extra value over and above what that basic commodity would be worth in the business. And what's your answer to it? That's my answer to it. It's a bit technical. But
the reason I ask that question is people starting off business. A lot of people start business because they are passionate about what they do. They're not good business people. They're passionate about what they do.
Indeed.
And they don't even understand the basics of what is profit. And profit is your income.
Yes.
Is what you get in minus all your expenses.
Including the cost of the goods, cost of the rent, cost of wages.
Including paying yourself
as
an expense. It's one thing that people often don't take into account, is if you had to replace you, how much would that cost?
Yes.
You have to deduct that as an expense before you work out your profit.
Yeah, and I would say the vast majority of small business owners don't.
Yes.
Just don't.
And we'll get to a segment at some point about saving and investing, which is sort of my forte and passion, and that's what I see in business. But really, people need to understand that profit is what is left after you take out everything. The cost of running your car, the cost of your phone, the cost of a piece of paper, photocopying, everything has got to come out of it, and what you're left with is profit. Even tax has got to come out of it. Yes, beforehand.
Yeah.
So
and you should be measuring that in a small business, when you're getting going, especially in the first maybe year, until you master this. Yeah. You should be measuring every week, and then every 2 weeks, and then every month once you've got it under control.
Because I understand totally with what you're saying, because I wasn't taught business, and I've learned it myself, and some of the things I learned weren't right. And I have looked at the bank account to see how much money we got left.
Yeah, and you and a lot of others.
Yeah. And whether we can afford to do something, and all of a sudden you can actually use the money that's not profit that you think is surplus.
Yeah, and the only way you can really grow your business is you've got to be able to make profit, so you can buy more stock. We won't go into all those details, but you must make profit. Absolutely, critically must be making profit over and above your total expense base.
So let's say someone was an internet marketer or a sole practitioner. They have no employees and so on. What's one thing that they could do to actually look at their money? How should they keep track of it?
Well, the first thing I would make sure that they know how much that they actually want to make.
Yes.
And I know from, so certainly talking to you as well, and it's a little of my own experience, that there's lots of ways of just tracking how many clicks you're getting on a site, and knowing if you're spending X dollars on that, how much you're paying per click on that. And I know Google does all that sort of stuff, but actually just know your numbers. How much is it costing you?
Yeah.
What's the response been? Is that actually a good investment?
So it's more than knowing just your financial numbers, knowing all your numbers.
It's knowing all your numbers.
But don't get too overwhelmed with that. If you're just starting off, very simply, you need some sort of spreadsheet, even a book, even a table, where you can record, expenses out, revenue in, and profit.
Yes, absolutely. Keep it simple, and there's lots and lots of books. Go to a bookshop and check out, get a simple book on just basic finances.
Yes.
Start there. The key is start.
Yes.
And get honest with it.
Because one of the things, I guess, and we'll finish off with this, is that if you're going to grow into a large business, you've got to start measuring stuff right from the beginning. There's no way you can grow if you don't know what your bottom line is.
Absolutely, and you cannot manage what you don't measure.
Yes.
And that's why you can't grow the business above a certain kind of point.
Awesome. Okay, hope that's giving you some great information. Bye for now.
Catch you soon.